Jackson is leading the MVP race, and I quote, "The game on Monday night showed that Jackson and Purdy are not the same caliber of player, even though Purdy's stats this year are otherworldly. Jackson is the singular force that's allowed the Ravens to become one of the best offenses in the league. He operates on a plane that few quarterbacks do, which is why he's on track to get the second MVP award of his career." So, Richard, you fought yesterday for your case that Brock Purdy should still be the MVP leader because of his stats, 29 touchdowns to 11 interceptions. And they're still so much better than Lamar's, 19-7. I'm going to guess that your answer to this will be no, but does Charles McDonald's column at all change your mind?
Well, first off, that wasn't my point at all yesterday. I said that Brock Purdy lost his MVP case by throwing 4 interceptions in December in a game. So we'll start there. I think Christian McCaffrey and Tyreek Hill have a great case right now. Again, we're talking about a running back in Christian McCaffrey with 21 touchdowns total, potentially having the same amount of touchdowns as a quarterback MVP with 24. I just don't see that. People say, oh, my God, you're biased. He's passing the eye test. Do you see their record? Do you see how they're winning games? I saw a team whose defense caused 5 turnovers. Got it. I saw Lamar Jackson play a really good football game. He threw for 250-something yards, 2 touchdowns, was dynamic with his legs. I think he ran it 7 times for 45 yards. I got it. Overall, as I've said, the numbers aren't there comparable to the previous years. So, I mean, you can argue to the death, eye test, this, that, and the third. You can't specifically back anything up with stats. Every quarterback to have won the award over the last decade or 5 years, we'll go with 5 years, has led the league in some category, whether it's touchdown passes, completion percentage, yards. It's going to be led in something, and they're going to be probably top 5 in everything else. That's just not the case this year. There's not a category you can find where Lamar Jackson is top 5 or top 10 in the categories that matter for quarterbacks. I think completion percentage, he may be 8 or 9, so we'll give him that. But usually when you're talking about an MVP of the league, you're talking about 1, 2 in just about every category. You're talking about touchdowns, completion percentage, yards. And in Lamar's case, his combined yards, his rushing and his passing yards, and his combined touchdowns. The year he won it, he had 43 total touchdowns. He had 1,200 yards running the football. He had, I think, 3,100 passing, which is fine. You combine those, he has about 4,300 yards. Got it. But when you talk about that and you say, all right, he passed the eye test. Got it. I got it. He looked really good this game. But are we going to say, hey, if Tua Tagovailoa, when they play this week, if he beats Lamar Jackson, then automatically, regardless of everything that has happened this season, since their record is great, and he beat Lamar Jackson, and Lamar Jackson was the leader this week for MVP, then he's all of a sudden the MVP? I don't know if that's how it works, but that's what you guys are telling me. You guys are telling me that's how it works. So I guess I got to accept it.
I would hope so, that you would accept it, because we are telling you that's how it works, because that's how it's been working every other week, right? Jalen Hurts 6 weeks ago, he was a front runner. He was the front runner, right? I mean, that was the case. You talk about Lamar Jackson's numbers, Richard. The numbers across the board offensively this year are down in general. They just are. Okay?
They really aren't.
They are down.
They really are.
And then when you look at Lamar's numbers from his campaign in the year that he won it, his numbers aren't dynamic. But just like he said, when you look at him on the big stage on Christmas night, and the world is watching, 3 MVPs are in the game. He had the best game, the most exciting. Yes, his defense got the football for him to score points. That's what you do. You did it for Russell Wilson and Marshawn Lynch. That's what you do. Warren Sapp and Derek Brooks got it for me to try to score. That's what you do. So when you look at him and you watch how he dazzles and runs around and delivers the football. That's in sync. That is not Brock Purdy right now. Brock Purdy threw 4 interceptions. That is drive killers. That is drive killers. That will lose you a game. Now you speak to Tyreek Hill and you speak to Christian McCaffrey. Yes, they deserve an opportunity to win, almost call it the Heisman, the MVP, because I feel like we have these type of conversations about the Heisman. To win the MVP, there's no question about it. But this award, and let's be real here, this MVP award is about the best quarterback with decent numbers or great numbers on the best team. That is what happens. It's been that way. Is it right?
It has never been that way. It's literally never been that way. So that's the dumb
Aaron Rodgers
part
won
of
the
this
MVP
conversation.
with the best record in the most touchdowns. What are you talking about?
Exactly, the most touchdowns. Make my point, Keyshawn, because your point is non-existent.
Okay.
The numbers have to be there. So you just said
the numbers.
The quarterback with okay numbers.
I let you go, Richard. Let me finish. I said 0 words as you tried to communicate to me and Skip. Now, give me the courtesy, brother, and let me finish.
Okay.
Okay?
I got you. Finish.
So when you look at it, you say, Aaron Rodgers, whatever, 50 touchdowns, 5,000 yards, his team was winning. When you match and you put all that together, the numbers are going to support, plus the winning is going to support. Same thing with Lamar. At the end of the day, whether you combine his running and his passing and you put it together, he will have numbers when the 17th game is over, along with winning. That's what we are projecting. We are projecting these things. So when you look at all of the MVPs, whether it's Peyton Manning, whether it's Tommy, any of them, at quarterbacks, and they were winning. Derrick Henry didn't get it the year that he probably should have gotten it, okay? But Adrian Peterson got it because he was 2,000 yards back, and they were winning. That's what happens. They're not just giving awards away. They're just not doing that. It's a quarterback-friendly award. We all know that. It's been that way for as long as I can remember. And the numbers are down this year offensively across the board. Am I right, Skip?
You are right. Okay.
No, he's not right. You're giving him credit where he's not doing. He's got 24 touchdowns. There's no other quarterback with that few that is in this discussion. Nobody else has that few in this discussion. You literally made my point.
Hey, man.
When you talked about Aaron Rodgers. Lead the league in categories, you get the award. When you don't lead the league in categories, you don't get the award. But apparently this year it's different because of eye test and things like that.
I literally just said it's a different year. The numbers are down.
Now, but Tua Tagovailoa. So Tua Tagovailoa beats Lamar this week. He's the MVP because nothing else matters. He's going to jump from his third or fourth spot. Ever heard
it might be dumb to you, Richard, but it's not dumb to the people that's voting.
We'll see, I guess, because your arguments are devoid of logic.
It's okay to be fact. Man, it's okay to be wrong, Richard.
Give me facts, Skip. Give me facts, Keyshawn, and I will.
What the hell you think I just gave you?
Richard, let me give you this.
Stupid.
I owe you an apology because I thought yesterday your case was that Brock Purdy still has 29 touchdown passes, 10 more than Lamar has. So I thought you were still sticking with Brock Purdy. I thought you were still making the case it's traditionally, historically, a quarterback's award to win. And now you're telling me it's Christian McCaffrey or Tyreek, right?
I said that yesterday.
I didn't hear that.
But it's funny when you got selective hearing, Skip. That's right.
I didn't hear that.
And neither did I.
Well, guess what? The beautiful thing about tape is you can go back and look at the tape, and you will both sound ridiculous by saying that. Because I said at the beginning of that argument, I said Brock Purdy has literally lost this award by throwing 4 interceptions in December in a primetime game. That was literally the first thing I said. So when you guys say you didn't hear me, that's called selective hearing.
No, it's not. I heard Josh Allen. Maybe I selected to hear that. Because when you said Josh Allen, my mouth dropped.
Yeah, your mouth dropped because I said Josh Allen has much better numbers, and he is not the MVP. So again,
I just heard Josh Allen.
It takes you guys have to be active listening. So when you're just waiting
I'm
to talk,
actively
that's not
listening
active
right now.
listening.
Who is your
I
MVP
appreciate
at
you.
this point? Who do you have?
I would guess it's between Tyreek and Christian McCaffrey, depending on how the season ends and depending on the numbers they put up.
Okay,
Because
who
like
do you
you
have
said,
right now? Right now, you have Christian McCaffrey?
yeah, I would go with Christian McCaffrey, 21
Okay.
touchdowns,
All right, you
1,800
got that.
all-purpose yards.
Okay.
So now we have it on tape. So when you go back and you sit there and try to make this discussion again, Richard Sherman said Brock Purdy after the 4 interception, then you can go back and you can correct yourself.
Okay. So what's your gut feeling right now on the way most voters are leaning? What does your sort of subconscious tell you about this right now?
I don't really have a gut feeling about it. I think it's going to go to either Tyreek Hill or Christian McCaffrey, whichever one ends the season on the higher note. If Tyreek goes off for 150 this next game against Baltimore, he goes off, he's going to probably get the award. If Christian McCaffrey goes off for 150 and 60 yards receiving in these next 2 games, he's probably going to get the award because he will likely have as many or close to as many touchdowns as Lamar Jackson, which is insane because no quarterback has won the award without being top 5 in these categories, at least in the last decade. So if you're saying a quarterback is going to win the award, not being top 5 or top 10 in a lot of these categories, then we're talking about a different kind of award.
We are talking about a quarterback that's going to win, and that quarterback is Lamar Jackson. If he does what we all think he is, Miami, then Pittsburgh, and have the #1 seed, he is certainly going to win the award, Richard. He's going to win it if that happens. And if Tua beats him at Baltimore, and he beats him, and he has just a 330-yard night or whatever it is. Against that defense in their home, and they get into the #1 spot, and I don't know who Miami plays the next week, but he will probably most likely win the award.
Miami plays Buffalo.
Buffalo, yeah. Then it comes down to those two at the end of the season, whether it's Josh Allen gets back in the mix if he runs the table and they go and they beat Miami, then he may have an opportunity to win the award. But right now, today, as I sit in this seat, it's going to Lamar Jackson. You can mark that down.
I guess the history of the award and how they picked the award for the history of time matters not this year, because apparently this year they're going to throw out all conventional rules in ways that they've discussed the MVP conversation, that they've based the MVP conversation, and they're just going to say, well, whoever wins at the end and whoever has the 1 seed at the end, who's playing quarterback for them? That's who we're giving up. So just throw away those numbers.
Man, the numbers are down across the board for offenses.
Throw away the numbers, throw away the logic. Let's just look at the game and say, that guy won this one. Let's give it to him, I guess.
I just can't, Skip. I don't even know. I can't.
Okay.
Because I'm waiting. I just feel like I'm wasting a
argument.
conversation.
100%, because you don't have any facts. Neither one of you.
What
you
the
got
hell are you
opinions
talking about?
things.
Richard, did you watch the game?
I watched the game. I watched him throw for 250
and
2 touchdowns. I watched him throw for 250 and 2 touchdowns. I watched 5 interceptions by a defense. I watched Kyle Hamilton get 2 interceptions. I watched him get 4 sacks in the game. I did not see Lamar Jackson get 5 interceptions, 4 sacks in the game. So I apologize, Skip. Maybe I missed him on the defensive side of the ball.
Let me ask you a football question, because I already know the answer to it, but I'm going to ask you just because I want to ask you. Have you ever gotten an interception and your offense got the ball back and they went and scored? Have you ever in your Hall of Fame career ever done that?
I'm sure.
Okay. That's the dang on point, is to get the ball to the offense, Richard.
Right. So you get the ball to the offense, and that tells me that the quarterback's
and then the offense capitalizes and tries to score. They may not score every single time, but they scored 7 straight possessions, dog.
And if he threw for 300 and threw for 4 touchdowns and ran one in, then I would hear what you're saying, Keyshawn. That's not what you're saying. But you can't, because you have
being caught up on numbers, man, and look at the football game. Stop worrying about the numbers.
That's what this award has been based on in the history of the award. So excuse me for basing it off of what it's been based on.
Are you still not listening and understanding?
Why would I listen to you? You are presenting nothing.
This year, the offenses are down. What are
this
you
year. So
talking
last
about?
year when Patrick Mahomes won it, the year before that when Aaron Rodgers won it, the year before that when Aaron Rodgers won it, the year before that when Lamar won it, it was just a very specific way they used to determine who won the award.
You too damn smart for your own good, man.
I'd rather be smart than dumb.
You too smart for your own good because you're not listening.
I'd rather be smart than
You
dumb.
gotta listen.
What am I listening to?
The numbers are down across the board.